and welcome. In this video, I'll show you how to start using the Sasabyte ERP system from scratch. By the end of this tutorial, you'll understand about 70 to 80% of the core features you need to start running your business using this system. Of course, there are many more features, and in other videos, we'll explore them in detail. But after watching this video, you should feel comfortable navigating the system and recording your first transactions. So let's begin from the very start. First, you'll need a web browser. You can use Google Chrome, Safari, or any browser you prefer. Simply open your browser and go to sasabyte.com. Once the website loads, navigate to the pricing section. Now, if you already have an account, you can skip this part and go directly to the login page. Enter your email and password, and you will be redirected to your own company workspace, including your subdomain and database. But in this tutorial, we're focusing on users who are starting fresh. So let's go to the pricing page. Here you'll see 3 available plans. Choose the plan that best fits your business. The first option is the basic plan. This plan allows 2 users and does not include AI assistance. However, it still includes all the essential ERP features needed for small businesses. If your company has a small team and you don't require AI tools, the basic plan is usually more than enough. Next, we have the standard plan. This plan supports up to 5 users and includes AI assistance, allowing you to interact with the system using up to 500 AI messages per month. It also includes all the features available in the basic plan, plus 6 days of technical support. For many growing businesses, this is the most popular choice. Finally, we have the premium plan. This plan supports up to 20 users, making it suitable for larger or expanding businesses. It includes 24/7 support, full AI assistance for reporting and analysis, and of course, all the features available in both the standard and basic plans. Now, if none of these plans perfectly match your business needs, you can scroll down to the Enterprise and Custom Solutions section and contact the sales team. They can help design a custom plan specifically for your organization. But for this tutorial, we'll continue with the standard plan, since it's the most commonly used option. Click Start Standard Trial. You'll notice that the system offers a 30-day free trial, which allows you to explore the platform before making any payment. Of course, if you prefer, you can also subscribe immediately without using the trial. After clicking Start Standard Trial, you'll be redirected to the registration form. Here, you'll need to fill in your basic information. First, enter your full name. Next, enter your company name. It's recommended to keep this name short and simple. For example, if your company is called Elite Computers Limited, you may want to enter something shorter like Elite or Elite Computers. Why? Because this name will be used to create your subdomain. For example, your company workspace will look something like yourcompany.sasabyte.com. If the name is too long, the link becomes long and harder to remember, so keeping it short makes life easier. Don't worry, you can always change it later in the system settings. Next, enter your email address. Make sure it's an email you can access, because the system will send a verification code shortly. Then, fill in your address and your phone number. If possible, it's recommended to use a number that has WhatsApp, but a normal phone number works as well. Now create your password. The password should contain at least 8 characters. Then confirm your password. Since we already selected the subscription plan earlier, it will appear automatically here. If you want to change it, you can always return to the pricing page and select a different plan. Before creating the account, complete the security check by confirming that you are not a robot. Yes, the system needs to make sure we're human, although sometimes, after a long workday, we might feel like robots ourselves. Once everything is filled in, click Create. After creating the account, the system will send a verification code to your email. Open your email inbox, copy the verification code, return to the page, and enter the code in the verification field. Then click Verify. Once the verification is complete, click Continue. Now you'll be taken to the initial system setup, which is an important step. Here you will select your country, choose your measurement units, and select the currency your business uses. If you don't see the exact unit you want, you can select one for now and adjust it later in the settings. Next, choose the fiscal year start. This does not necessarily mean the day your business started operating. Instead, it refers to the date from which you want your ERP transactions to begin. For example, if you want your accounting data to begin from January, choose January. If your reporting cycle begins in September or June, you can select those months instead. Once everything is configured, you can either activate the free trial or proceed directly to payment. If you choose the free trial, the system will automatically generate your workspace and redirect you to the login page. Simply enter your email and password, and your company ERP environment will be ready. If you prefer to subscribe immediately, click Make Payment and choose your preferred payment method. For example, if you are in Kenya, you can pay using M-Pesa Paybill. If you are in another country, you can use a Visa or MasterCard. After completing the payment, the system will automatically activate your account and redirect you to your company dashboard, where you can begin managing your business operations. And that's it. Your ERP system is now ready to use. All right, so for this example, I'm going to use the free trial because I don't want to make any payment right now. So let's click Start Free Trial. Once you click this button, the system will begin creating your workspace. This usually takes around 10 to 15 seconds, so just wait a moment while everything is prepared. After the setup is complete, the system will automatically redirect you to your company workspace. At the top of the page, you'll notice something important, your company subdomain. It will look something like this, yourcompany.sasabyte.com. This will be your main access link to the ERP system. So every time you want to access your company data, you can simply type your company name, followed by .sasabyte.com. Alternatively, you can also go to the main website and click Login, then enter your email and password, and the system will automatically redirect you to the correct company workspace. Now let's log in. Enter the email address you used during the sign-up process, then enter the password you created earlier. Click the Login button. Once you log in, you'll arrive at the main dashboard of the system, and this page is very important because this is where everything begins. Dashboard Overview. Don't worry if it looks like a lot at first. Once you understand the layout, it becomes very simple. On this page, you'll see several modules, including Dashboard, Sales, Point of Sale, Quotations, Customers, Suppliers, Purchases, Expenses, Inventory, Stock Summary, Accounting, Journals, and many more. Each module represents a different part of your business operations. At the top of the screen, you'll find a search bar. This search bar is extremely useful. Instead of navigating through menus, you can simply type the name of the module or transaction you want. For example, if you want to create a sale, you can simply type Sales and open the module instantly. Now let's take a look at the icons on the right side. First, you'll see the Live User Monitor. When you click this button, the system shows all users currently active in your system. This means you can see who is logged in and using the ERP at that moment. If you ever notice a user you don't recognize, it may be a sign to review your security settings. Next, you'll see the Dark Mode toggle. If you prefer a darker interface, simply click the icon and the system will switch to Dark Mode. Click it again to return to the Light Mode. Some people love Dark Mode. Others prefer Light Mode. And some people just switch depending on how much coffee they've had that day. Next is the Notifications icon. Here you will receive important alerts from the system, such as subscription reminders, low inventory alerts, system updates, and other important notifications. Finally, you'll see your profile icon. From here you can access profile settings, update your name, change your email, change your password, or log out of the system. Now that we understand the dashboard, let's start setting up the essential business data. Creating inventory items. Before you can start selling or purchasing anything, the first thing you must create is your inventory items. To open the inventory module, you can either search inventory in the search bar or simply click the inventory icon on the dashboard. Once the inventory page opens, you'll notice that it's currently empty because we are starting from scratch. To add a new item, click Add New Inventory. But before we create one manually, let's briefly talk about the import feature. If you already have many products, instead of creating them one by one, you can import them using an Excel template. Simply click Import, download the template, and open the Excel file. Inside the template, you will fill in details such as product name, SKU or barcode, product type, physical or service, sale price, cost price, quantity, currency, unit of measurement, location. After filling the file, save it and upload it back into the system using the import button. The system will automatically create all the items for you. This is extremely helpful if you are migrating from another system. But for now, we'll create an item manually. Click Add New Inventory. Enter the product name. For example, iPhone 16 Pro Max. Next, if the product has a barcode, you can scan it using a barcode scanner or enter the barcode manually. If you don't have one, you can simply leave this field empty. Then choose the product type: physical items, service, digital. For our example, we'll select physical item. Next, select or create a category. If the category doesn't exist yet, simply type the name and click Create. Now let's move to the stock and valuation section. Here you'll enter the initial quantity, meaning how many units of this product you currently have when starting the system. For example, if you currently have 3 phones in stock, you would enter 3 as the initial quantity. Next, enter the unit cost. This is the price you paid to purchase the item, not the selling price. Then optionally enter the sale price, which is the price you plan to sell the product for. Select the unit of measurement, such as pieces, kilograms, liters, or any other relevant unit. You can also add a description and upload an image of the product if you want. Finally, click Save. And just like that, your inventory item has been created. Next, we need to create money accounts. Money accounts represent the places where your business keeps money. For example, cash, bank accounts, mobile wallets, payment platforms. To create one, search for money accounts in the search bar. Once the page opens, click Create Money Account. Enter the account name, for example, Cash, Bank of Kenya, M-Pesa Wallet. Then choose the account category, such as Cash, Bank, Mobile Wallet. Next, enter the initial balance if there is already money in the account. Click Register Account and your account will be created, creating customers and suppliers. Now we will create customers and suppliers. Search Customers in the search bar and open the module. Click Register New Customer. Enter the customer name. This is the only required field. Email and phone number are optional but recommended. Next, you'll see the opening balance field. This represents the amount owed before you started using the system. If the customer already owes you money, enter the amount as a debit balance. If you previously received an advance from the customer, you can mark it as credit instead. Click Register, and the customer will be saved. Suppliers work exactly the same way. Search suppliers, click Add Supplier, enter the supplier details, and set the opening balance if necessary. Sales versus point of sale. Now let's talk about sales. In this system, there are 2 types of sales. The first is regular sales invoices. These are typically used for credit sales, where you issue a formal invoice to a customer and they may pay later. The second type is point of sale, which is used for cash transactions, such as retail stores where customers pay immediately. For example, if you run a shop selling phones and accessories, every quick transaction at the counter would normally be done through point of sale. Point of sale sessions. Before using the point of sale, you must open a session. A session represents a working shift at the counter. For example, if your shop opens at 8 a.m. and closes at 6 p.m., that entire period is considered one session. When opening a session, you'll enter the opening cash balance. For example, if you start the day with 5,000 shillings in the cash drawer, you enter that amount as the opening balance. At the end of the session, the system will compare the expected cash with the actual cash collected, making it easy to track daily performance. Quotation. Now let's talk about quotations. To create a quotation, go to the home page, then search for quotation, or simply click the quotation icon if you see it on the home screen. Once you click the quotation module, you will be directed to the quotation page. On this page, you will see the New Quotation button on the right-hand side. Click New Quotation, and then you will see the quotation form. First, choose the date of the quotation. Then, select the customer or client you want to send the quotation to. After that, go down to the Items section and choose the item you want to quote. You will select the unit price and the quantity of the item you are quoting for the customer. If needed, you can also add a discount, or you can add VAT. Once everything is filled correctly, scroll down and click Save Quotation. After saving, the system will redirect you back to the quotation page, and you will see that quotation listed with the status pending. From here, you have several options. You can click Convert to Sell if the customer accepts the quotation and you want to turn it into a sale. You can also click the View button to open the quotation and see all the details again. From there, you can still convert it to a sale, or you can edit it if something needs to be changed. You can also click Print Quotation, which allows you to send the quotation to the customer. That's how the quotation process works. Now, let's go to the Purchases section. Purchases are used when you buy inventory from suppliers. To create a new purchase, go to the Purchases module and click Add Purchase. First, you can change the date of the purchase if needed. Set the date to the actual purchase date. Then, choose a supplier from the list. If the supplier does not exist, you can create it immediately by typing the name and clicking Create, then save it and continue. Next, fill in the invoice reference number if you have one. If you don't, you can leave it blank, and the system will automatically assign a purchase number. Adding items. After that, go to the Inventory Items section. Choose the items you are purchasing. If you want to purchase multiple items from the same supplier, click Add Item. You can add as many items as needed. If there are additional costs like transport fees, delivery, or cargo, you can add them using Add Cost. Here's how it works. Click Add Cost and a small window will pop up. Name the cost. You can add multiple costs at once, separated by commas, for example, cargo, delivery. Enter the total amount for each cost. These costs will increase the item cost automatically. They are not recorded as expenses because they are already part of the inventory cost. Recording them as expenses separately would mess up your calculations, since the cost has already been included in the item value. Allocating costs to items. If you have added multiple items products, you can allocate the landing cost or additional costs to each item. Click Allocate Costs and assign the cost manually to each product. The system will then calculate the updated cost per item with the landing costs included. Assigning payments. Next, assign who gets paid for the additional costs. For example, the delivery guy, cargo company, or any other party responsible for the cost. If the person or company does not exist in the system, you can create their account as a supplier. Assign the amounts for each person or company individually. You can add multiple recipients if needed. After assigning the charges, click Confirm Charges. Creating the purchase. Once all costs and items are set, click Create Purchase. This will save the purchase and direct you to the purchase's main page. Receiving stock. Creating a purchase does not automatically receive the stock. You have two options. If you want to receive the stock later, just leave it and receive it when ready. 2. When ready, click Receive Stock, either from the main page or after clicking View on the purchase. Once you click Receive Stock, the items will be added to your inventory. Expense. Now let's move to the Expense module. When you open the Expense module, you will be redirected to the Expense page. On this page, you will see 3 main options in the menu. The first one is All Transactions, which shows the list of all expense transactions that were created before. The second option is New Transaction, which is where you record a new expense. The third option is Create Expense Entity. Before recording expenses, it is important to understand what an expense entity is. An expense entity is basically the expense account or the type of expense you are recording. It is the backbone of the expense system. Without setting up an expense entity, you cannot properly record an expense transaction. For example, if you are paying rent, then rent is an expense entity. If you are paying for cleaning, cleaning is an expense entity. If you have utilities, salaries, office supplies, maintenance, or marketing expenses, each of these is considered an expense entity. It's usually better to create the expense entity first and then record transactions under that entity. But you can also go directly to New Transaction, and the system will allow you to create the entity during the process. When creating a new expense transaction, first choose the date. Then choose the account the money will be paid from. This could be cash, bank, or any other money account you created in the system. The system will show you the available accounts along with their balances. Next, you will see Paid To. This means who or what the payment is for. If the expense entity already exists, you simply select it. If it does not exist, just type the name of the expense, for example, rent. When the name does not exist yet, the system will show an option to create it. When you click Create, a small window will appear. In this window, you will confirm the name of the expense account, and then you must select the category for that expense. The system already provides many categories, such as rent expense, utilities expense, salary expense, office supplies expense, maintenance expense, advertising or marketing expense. You simply choose the category that best matches the expense you are recording. If you cannot find the category you need, you can create a new one. To do that, open a new tab in the system and go back to the home page. From there, search for Ledger or open the Ledger module. Inside the ledger, you will see the list of accounting accounts. These accounts represent the categories used in the system. You should not delete anything here, but you can create a new account if a category is missing. Click New Account. Then enter an account code. The code can be any number, but it must be a number that does not already exist in the system. You can search first to make sure the number is not used. After that, write the account name, which will be the category you want to add. Then, choose the account classification as expense. You do not need to choose a parent account. Simply finalize or save the account, and the new category will be created. Once that is done, you can go back to the expense module. Now, when you create a new expense transaction again and type the name of the expense entity, you will be able to select the new category you just created. Once the entity is set, you simply enter the amount of the expense. You can also write a description or note if needed, or leave it blank. Finally, click Save Expense. After saving, the expense transaction will be recorded, and the amount will automatically be deducted from the account you selected. Also remember that expense entities are created only once. After creating them, you can reuse them many times for future transactions. Every new expense will simply be recorded under the same account, and that's how you record expenses in the system. Now let's talk about receipts and payments. In the system, we have two important features, receipts and payments. Think of them as opposites. A receipt is when your business receives money. Usually, this money comes from customers paying for sales that were previously recorded. Now remember, this is not the same as point of sale. With point of sale, the payment happens immediately, so the money automatically goes to the correct account. Nice and simple. But what we're discussing here is different. This applies when you create a sale on credit. When that happens, the system records the sale, and the customer now owes you money. So when the customer finally pays, that's when we create a receipt. To do this, click Receipt. You can also go to Home and simply search for Receipt. You'll see the receipt page with this icon. Click it, then select Record a Receipt. Once you click that, you'll be directed to this page. First, choose the account where the money will be deposited. This could be your bank account, cash account, or any other money account. Then scroll down. Here, you'll choose who the money is coming from. Most of the time, it will be customers because you're collecting payments for sales. But technically, a receipt can be any money coming into your business from outside entities, customers, suppliers, or other sources. Just to clarify one thing, if the business owner adds money as capital, that is not recorded as a receipt. That is considered a bank deposit or equity transaction, and we'll discuss that in another video. So don't worry about it for now. Back to our receipt. Choose Customer, then select the customer's name. After selecting the customer, go down and enter the amount you received. Now here's something important. The moment you type the first number, maybe 1, 2, or 3, a pop-up window might appear. Don't panic. It's not an error. It's just the system trying to be helpful. Just keep typing the amount. The pop-up won't interrupt you. This pop-up appears when the customer has unpaid invoices. The system is asking if you want to allocate this payment to those invoices. For example, if you receive $300 and the customer has an invoice for $300, you simply allocate the payment to that invoice. The invoice will then be fully paid. If the payment is less than the invoice will be partially paid. And if the payment is more than the invoice, the extra amount will stay as a credit for that customer. Next time they buy something, that credit can automatically reduce their payment. Pretty convenient, right? Your system basically remembers money better than people. Once you finish allocating the payment, click Confirm, then click Proceed Receipt, and your receipt will be created. Now let's look at the payment feature. As you might guess, payment is the opposite of receipt. A payment is when money leaves your accounts, your bank, your cash account, or whichever account you are using. This usually happens when you are paying suppliers. For example, you might be paying for supplier purchases, transport fees, cargo charges, landing costs, or other business expenses. To record this, click Payment, then click Record Payment. Just like with receipts, the first step is choosing which account the money will come from. Then go down to Paid To. Here you can select who you are paying. It could be a supplier or sometimes even a customer, but most commonly it will be a supplier. Select Supplier, then choose the supplier's name. If that supplier has unpaid purchases, a pop-up will appear, exactly like the receipt process. Again, don't stop typing your amount. Just continue entering the numbers. The system will show the pending purchases, and you can allocate the payment to those purchases. After allocating, click Confirm, and the payment will be recorded. Simple as that. Next, let's briefly talk about ledgers. Now, this part is mostly for accounting users. If you're not an accountant, this might look a little confusing, but don't worry. Most of the time, these accounts are already set up for you. For example, earlier we saw accounts like utilities, operating expenses, rent, and. So how are these accounts created? To create one, go to Ledger and click New Account. Then you'll enter an account code. This can be any number you choose, like 5334. The code simply helps you identify the account quickly. Next, enter the account name. After that, choose the category for the account. The main categories are asset, liability, equity, income, expense. Select the correct category. You can also choose a parent account, but it's optional. If you don't need one, just leave it blank. Then click Finalize, and the ledger account will be created. Finally, we have journals. This section is mostly used by accountants because it involves double entry accounting. To create a journal entry, click Journal, then select New Entry. Here you can create a debit and credit entry between accounts. For example, you might debit one account, credit another account. You can select accounts like bank, cash, suppliers, customers, or any other ledger account. Just choose the account, select the accounting entity, add a description, enter the amount, and then create the journal entry. And that's it. Now let's go to the reporting section. All reports are available from the homepage. You can choose the report by clicking the icon, or if you don't see it, you can use the search to find it. Profit and loss report. The first report we will check is the profit and loss report. This report shows the profit your business has made during a specific period. You can filter by date, for example, 1 week, 1 month, or any range you want. If you have multiple locations, you can filter by the branch you want to see. If you only have one location, leave it as default. In the report, you will see total sales, the revenue from the sales you made. Cost of goods sold, COGS, the cost of buying or producing the items sold. The difference between these is your gross profit, which is the money you earned before deducting expenses. After deducting all expenses, you get the net profit, which is the real profit for your business. For example, if you bought a mobile for $100 and sold it for $150, the gross profit is $50. The net profit will be the remaining amount after deducting expenses like transport, electricity, or other costs. That balance sheet. Next is the balance sheet, which shows the financial position of your company at a specific date. Here, you will see assets, money in your accounts, and the current stock value. Receivables, money owed to you by your customers. Payables, money you owe to your suppliers. Equity, owner's capital or retained earnings. It's important that your balance sheet is balanced. If it is not, it means something is wrong in your entries. You need to check all transactions carefully. You can export it as PDF or Excel if you need to share it. Receivables. To check receivables, go to the home page and either click the receivables icon or search for receivables. Receivables are your credit customers, the customers who owe you money. You will see the amount pending for each customer. You can click on a customer to see the statement, which shows all transactions and the net amount owed. If the customer has advance payments, it will show in green. You can export this statement as PDF or Excel, and you can print it at the end of the month or for any specific period you want. Payables. For payables, do the same. Go to the home page, click the Payables icon, or search for it. Payables are the amounts you owe to suppliers. You will see all suppliers listed and the net amount owed to each. You can click on a supplier to see their statement, showing all purchases and payments. You can also export it as PDF or Excel if you need to share it. For your bank statement, you can check the transactions in the system under your account balances. Choose the bank account, select the period, and generate the statement. You can see all transactions for that period and compare them with your real bank statement. This is useful for bank reconciliation. For example, if there is money missing, or if there is money in your account that hasn't been recorded in the system, you can identify it here. You can check transaction by transaction to make sure everything matches and is accurate. VAT return. If your business has VAT or other taxes, you can use the VAT return report. VAT stands for value-added tax. This report will show taxes you collected from sales, taxes you paid on purchases. You can select the period and see the net amount payable to the government or recoverable taxes. This is helpful for filing taxes and keeping records accurate. The stock summary shows all your inventory. Here you can see current stock, sold items, purchased items. You can filter by date and check each item in detail. You can see item by item, quantity, and total value. This helps you track your inventory and understand what's moving in and out. All reports can be filtered, checked, and exported to PDF or Excel. There are several more reports, and in case you need any report, you can search for it from the home page. These are the main reports that are usually used for monitoring your business and keeping records accurate. Now, in this part of the video, I will explain the settings section of the system. To access the settings, first go to Home, then search for Settings and click on it. Once you open the settings page, you'll see several tabs, including General, Company, Sales and Finance, Inventory, Templates, Session, and System. Let's start with the General section. Inside the General tab, we have several options. The first one is User Access. If you click View Users, you'll see all the users currently registered in your system. From here, you can manage them easily. For example, you can delete a user, you can assign roles, you can edit user details. Each action has its own icon. If you click the role icon, you can assign roles such as Super Admin, Admin, Inventory Manager, Cashier. If you prefer more control, you can skip these preset roles and assign specific permissions manually. For example, you can allow a user to only view certain modules or only manage specific sections. Think of it like giving someone keys to the office. Maybe they only get the front door key, not the safe. If you want to add a new user, simply click Register New User, fill in the details, and the user will be added to the system. Next, in the General section, we have Locations. By default, the system starts with one location, which is called the main location. If your business has multiple branches or warehouses, you can add more locations. To do that, click Manage Location, then select Add Location. Here you can enter the location name, the full address, optional. You'll also see an option to set as primary location. Remember, you only need one primary location, which is already the default main location. So normally, you don't need to change this unless you want another branch to become the main one. Next, we have the SaaS AI Hub. If this feature is not yet enabled in your system, you'll see a page showing the AI terms of service. If you accept the terms, simply click Agree and Enable AI feature. Once enabled, a chat icon will appear on the right sidebar of your system. From there, you can chat with the AI and ask questions about things like reports, inventory analysis, customer data, system guidance. It's basically like having a digital assistant inside your ERP system. And unlike human assistants, this one doesn't ask for lunch breaks. Below that, we have subscription and billing settings. Here you can see your current plan, the monthly price, the expiration date of your subscription. It's important to keep an eye on the expiration date. If the subscription expires without renewal, some features of the system may stop working. If you want to renew or upgrade, click Manage Billing. Then click Upgrade Plan. Even if you don't change the plan, you can still proceed to checkout to extend your current subscription. One good thing is that any remaining days on your current plan will not be lost. Those remaining days will be added to your new subscription period. So if you still have 7 days left and you renew for 1 month, your new total will become 1 month plus those 7 days. If you want to upgrade your plan, simply choose the higher plan and proceed with checkout. However, if you want to downgrade, you must wait until the current subscription expires. Downgrading is only allowed after the active subscription period ends. Next, let's move to the Company tab. Here, you'll find the organization profile. Click Edit to update your company information. You can add details such as company logo, company name, physical address, tax PIN or VAT number, official email, website URL. Just fill in the form with your company's information. Another important option here is the accounting lock date. This feature prevents users from editing transactions before a certain date. For example, if you lock the date for December 31st, then any transactions before that date cannot be edited, deleted, or changed. This is very useful once your financial records are finalized. It prevents accidental changes that could mess up your reports. Unless, of course, someone has superpowers or super admin access. You'll also see reporting branding, where you can customize the color used in reports and invoices so they match your company branding. Next is Sales and Finance. Here you'll find currency management. Currently, this version of the system supports only one currency. Multi-currency support will be available in future versions. However, you can still customize the currency symbol, the currency code. Next is billing configuration. When you click Edit, you'll see 2 sections. 1, bank details. 2, terms and conditions. Anything you enter here will automatically appear on your sales invoices. For example, you can add your bank information for customer payments and include your invoice terms. Below that, we have taxes and VAT setup. Click Manage Taxes and Rates to add or modify tax rates. If you mark a tax as default, it will automatically appear on the sales page when creating invoices or POS sales. If it's not set as default, you can still select it manually when needed. Next is the Inventory tab. Here you can configure the inventory valuation method. By default, the system uses monthly average. Other options include moving average, FIFO, first in, first out, LIFO, last in, first out. Choose the method that fits your business. But here's an important rule. Once you choose a valuation method, do not keep changing it. Changing it repeatedly can affect your calculations and create incorrect inventory reports. In accounting, consistency is very important. Your accountant will thank you for it. You can also manage units of measurement, warehouse configurations, stock warning levels. For stock warnings, click Manage and enter the minimum stock level. If the stock falls below that number, the system will notify you. You can even enable email notifications, so you'll receive an alert when stock is running low. Basically, the system will warn you before your shelves start looking like a supermarket on Sunday evening. Next, we have templates. This section allows you to customize document layouts. You'll find templates for invoices, quotations, delivery notes. If you open the Invoice and Quotation Builder, you'll see several template designs. You can preview them and select the one that fits your brand style. Different businesses prefer different layouts, so choose whichever looks best for you. For delivery notes, you can also configure the fields here. We'll discuss delivery notes in a separate video because they require a bit more setup. Finally, we have Session and System. This section helps control default dates and report ranges. For example, if you want all reports to show data for February, you can set the default report range from February 1st to February 28th. After setting it here, every report will automatically use that date range. You won't need to adjust it every time. Another useful feature is transaction date override. Let's say today is March 22nd, but you are entering sales that happened on February 12th. Instead of changing the date for every transaction manually, you can set the default transaction date to February 12th in this section. Then every new entry will automatically use that date until you change it again. This saves a lot of time and prevents your mouse from filing a complaint about too many clicks. And that's it for the settings section. Once you understand these configurations, you'll have full control over how the system behaves.